Hello fans and friends across the universe and welcome to my YouTube channel From Me to You. My name's Keir Smith. Back today with another Fab 4 video. I worked my way through each of the Beatles' 12 UK studio albums and told you my Fab 4, my 4 favourite songs from each of those albums, and then moved on to the solo years. I started with George Harrison's 33 1/3 album, and my last video was on Ringo's Bad Boy album. And for today, as promised, it is John and Yoko's Milk and Honey. It's worth remembering that Milk and Honey is a posthumous release. It was released in 1984, some years after John had passed away back in 1980. And though some of these songs were intended to be on the follow-up album to Double Fantasy, Milk and Honey was the proposed title for the follow-up album, John's songs in particular were largely unfinished. And for that reason, the album remains a patchy affair. Of the 7 John Lennon studio albums that he put out after the Beatles, I would rank this one last. But that's not to say that there isn't some good stuff here, because there is. But in truth, this was a pretty easy Fab 4 to get together. And so, with that said, here's my Fab 4 from John and Yoko's Milk and Honey. So I'll start my list with what is, I think, a pretty obvious choice. It was the lead single for the album, and it is, of course, the brilliant Nobody Told Me, which is a great John Lennon song. And shortly before he passed away, musically John was reconnecting with his 50s and 60s rock and roll roots, and maybe he was playing on the words of the old Shirelles song called Mama Said. The song goes, Mama said there'd be days like these. And John sounds like he's having good fun on this track, and I guess maybe he thought that it was a bit of a playful throwaway because he was going to give it to Ringo, who was going to record it for his upcoming album in 1981, Stop and Smell the Roses. But then, of course, John passed away and Ringo maybe thought better of it and decided against recording the song. But personally, I'm glad because, as I say, this is a great John Lennon song. It's got a great upbeat rock and roll energy, kick-started by that 3/4 counting, and the guitars are clean, bright and jangly. I really like those dissonant keyboard chords that set up that great chorus. And John's being playful with the lyrics here. There's UFOs over New York and I ain't too surprised, and I particularly like the line, there's Nazis in the bathroom just below the stairs. And the whole song just brims with confidence and a newfound energy and enthusiasm, and I'd put it right up there with John Lennon's best solo songs. My next choice is the second single from the album, Borrowed Time, which again is another bright and up-tempo tune with a distinct reggae feel to it, and Andy Newmark's drums are really good on this. And this finds John in a most mellow and relaxing mood, and it's a song I've always enjoyed despite the heavy lyrics. John sings, when I was younger, living confusion and deep despair, and full of ideas and broken dreams. And of course we hear John's good humour coming through at the end of the song in the spoken word part when he adopts that funny voice and asks, am I going to get rid of the pimples? Does she really love me? And all of that crap. I always really like that scratchy guitar part around that spoken word part, but yeah, I guess that part shows that the song was largely unfinished and still had work to be done on it. But Borrowed Time certainly has good potential, and I'm certain it would have been made into much more, but it's fine as it is. My next choice is the soft and tender ballad, the beautiful Grow Old With Me. And the fact that we have it here in its raw, basic demo form somehow captures the fragility of not only John's voice, but the lyrics too, perfectly. For me, John's naked vocal here is at its tear-jerking best, void of any overdubs or double tracking, which of course he was very fond of. It's merely a simple drum, purely to keep time, and John at his piano, and it's beautiful. And the lyrics are so lovely. Grow old along with me, the best is yet to be. When our time has come, we will be as one. God bless our love. I really think that this is one of the most beautiful love songs ever written. I mean, those lyrics in the middle eight when John sings, spending our lives together, man and wife together, world without end, world without end. And of course, we all heard the song and could listen to it knowing the tragedy that had come before it, but I think it's a really beautiful sentiment. I think this song is gorgeous, and I really believe that it should be held in much higher esteem, and it was an easy pick for this Fab 4. So my fourth and final choice for this particular Fab Four is the last song on the album, which is Yoko's You're the One, which I think is fantastic. It's built around what sounds like a sample of chirping crickets, but I think it's Yoko's voice being sampled there, repeated over and over. That permeates the song, and this is odd but a truly engaging piece of Europop, complete with the sound of crashing thunder, a popping bass line, and a cool, warm synth glow. And I really like the lyrics here, in particular when Yoko sings, "In the world's eye, we were Laurel and Hardy. In our minds, we were Heathcliff and Cathy. In reality, we were just a boy and a girl who never looked back." And admittedly, Yoko's vocal is a little wayward here, but it only adds to the overall drama of the song. I also like the main line, "How do I tell you? How do I tell you're the one?" When this song pops into my head, which happens more often than you'd think, I have to play it. It's such a great tune. It is entirely possible that of the songs on Milk and Honey over the years, this is probably the song that I've played more than any other. If you don't know it, you must give it a listen. You're the one. Turn it up. Play it loud. This is good. Really good. So there you go. That was my Fab Four from John and Yoko's Milk and Honey album. I chose Nobody Told Me, Borrowed Time, Grow Old With Me, and You're the One. And as always, I'd love to know what your selections are, so please leave your Fab Four from Milk and Honey down in the comments section below. And of course, I'll be back with another Fab Four video sooner rather than later. It's been pretty random so far. George's 33 and the Third, Ringo's Bad Boy, John and Yoko's Milk and Honey. So next up is the turn of Paul, and I'll continue that random feel and go with a Fab Four selection from Paul's Egypt Station album. How about that? So until then, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.